Learning Pig can be tough because, let's be honest, she's pretty weak. Pig has been nerfed so many times that it's become a meme at this point. No matter what killer is dominating the current meta, it seems like poor little Piggy is always catching strays. I mean, she's just a mediocre version of like 5 other killers at this point. Her ambush attack doesn't come close to killers like Demogorgon and Wesker. Her crouch is very situational, so she doesn't feel as stealthy as Ghostface or Myers. Her head traps are the only thing that feels unique, and they can easily be worked around by 99ing generators. The only thing she seems to be good at is getting her snoot booped, but that doesn't help you win games. Pig is not a great killer by any means, but those are exactly the killers I love to master. I'm always up for a good challenge, and mastering Pig might be my toughest challenge to date. To help me get up to speed, I talked to DrussNBubba. Druss is currently the number 3 ranked Pig on DBD Tricky and is one of the only creators making YouTube content around Pig. Druss has some of the most in-depth guides on Pig, and I jumped on a Discord call with him to talk me through everything I needed to know. Over the next 5 days, Druss is going to help me master Pig, and hopefully by watching this video, you can master her too. Pig has 3 abilities: her ambush, her crouch, and her head traps, but let's start with her ambush. Her ambush is a dash attack that you have to be crouched to initiate. The attack itself takes 0.75 seconds to charge and lasts 2.3 seconds. When talking to Druss, he broke it down like this.
People just use it wrong. I think the ambush is completely fine. It could maybe use a bit of a rework stronger, but I think the reality is that people use it wrong, because I think Pig is an M1 killer that just sort of happens to have a mini backup ambush power and isn't an ambush killer. I think people overuse the ambush or don't use it enough, like there's a lack of balance.
When learning Pig, the only way to get comfortable with her ambush is just trying it out in as many situations as possible. You'll find what works and what doesn't work, and for me, it took a while for me to understand her ambush. Oh... Come on, just give me that, please. No way, come on, just give me one, please, for my sanity. What I learned is that her ambush is great at small tiles, but that's about it. But that's fine, her ambush isn't meant to be her main power. It's just another tool in her toolbox, like her crouch. Crouching will make you undetectable, but it will slow down your speed a fair bit. I think this is something you'll get a feel for pretty early on when playing Pig, but use it situationally when it makes sense. Don't crouch walk all the way across the map to a generator because you'll lose valuable time. It's mainly good for sneaking up on survivors when you know where they are. Her final ability is her head traps, and most people consider them to be the best part of her power. The Pig has 4 head traps, and you can place them on survivors whenever you down them. The head traps will remain inactive, but once a generator is complete, the death timer will start. Once active, survivors will have 150 seconds to remove the head traps until they pop, killing the survivor. Survivors have to run around the map searching through jigsaw boxes to find the key to remove the head trap. It's also good to know that the death timer will be paused anytime a survivor is downed, hooked, or being chased, and survivors cannot leave through the exit gate with an active head trap. I've always assumed head traps were her best ability, but Druss warned me they can be easily overestimated.
I mean, the traps are the biggest rookie mistake that people make when they pick up Pig. What I mean is that they hook a survivor with a trap on, and then they leave the survivor alone because they're like, oh, he's not on a gen, he's fine. Except that first chase, 2 generators have already been done. You know, you have 3 traps to go, and that guy that you just trapped has already taken his trap off and is fully healed. You have failed to pressure the team with the use of your traps.
I was able to get a head pop here and there, but it wasn't anything consistent. When you do get a head pop though, it can be pretty exciting. Nice. We need a head pop there. Okay. Holy shit. I would say head traps are solid, but you really can't rely that they'll change the game for you. You still have to be efficient. Druss sees Pig like the Avatar. You have to use all your abilities together in unison. You can't simply focus on just one, and at the end of the day, I had officially mastered 0 of her abilities. When it comes to perks, it's important you understand how Pig plays when crafting your build. The perk Druss talked about most was Deadlock. Deadlock will block the gen with the most progress whenever a generator is complete. This is helpful because not only does it provide a little bit of information, it slows the game down. Playing Pig is all about pressure, and slowing down the game will allow you to build pressure. That's the same reason Corrupt Intervention is popular on Pig. While killers like Trapper might need the perk to allow them to set up, Pig players use Corrupt to buy time at the start of the match in order to build up pressure. I used both Corrupt and Deadlock on most of my builds, and I can confirm these perks made it a lot easier to keep control of the game. Druss likes using No Way Out on his builds to make things a little chaotic in the endgame, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't get a chance to try it out, but I'll take his word that it's great on Pig. I did really enjoy using the perk Alien Instinct on her because I was able to crouch and sneak up on injured survivors, but by far my favorite perk on Pig was Force Penance. That perk's so good, I made an entire video on it. I'm not gonna go on forever about it, but it's a great perk to punish altruistic survivors. Druss says he doesn't usually run any specific gen regression perk, but I use Pain Res a fair bit. Look, I needed all the help I could get. So if I were to recommend a build, I would say Corrupt, Deadlock, Pain Res, and Force Penance. You really can't go wrong with it, and I was winning a lot of games with that build. But it's really the add-ons where things get interesting. I've mastered a fair few killers to this point, and I'd say Pig has one of the more diverse add-on sets. Druss was able to walk me through every single add-on, but a few stood out to me. Rule set number 2 is an add-on that makes it where survivors can't see the jigsaw boxes until the traps are active, which helps you gain a ton of pressure.
That is honestly one of her best add-ons, if not her best add-on. It keeps the traps on for longer, which means you have more pressure on the team and more time to get more downs while the gens are not getting done. Like, that is, honestly, some people think it should even be base kit. I don't lean towards that direction, but I will admit it's very good.
Amanda's Secret is another great add-on which shows you the aura of a survivor once they remove their head trap. Druss likes this perk because you can pressure a specific survivor.
As I said, this is honestly one of my more fun add-ons to run. I think it works with videotape and rule set number 2. You know, anything where you can manage when the trap is going to come off, and then it reveals their aura. Majority of the time, the survivor's just going to heal on the spot, or they're going to, like, run somewhere, and you could just crouch towards there, and that's when the crouch is useful, because you know where the survivor is, and you know what they're doing.
Amanda's Letter was really hot and cold for me. This is her iridescent add-on that allows you to see the aura of nearby survivors when you crouch. The caveat is it takes away 2 of your head traps, so you only have 2. Some games I really liked having it, while other games I hated it. When I played Chaos Shuffle, I liked having Amanda's Letter because I knew I'd at least be getting some type of information, but there's definitely games where you really miss having those 2 head traps. Her other iridescent add-on is the Videotape, which will have all 4 survivors start with their head trap on. Videotape is basically free pressure right off the bat because you don't have to worry about trapping survivors. And when you pair this up with rule set number 2, it leads to some really great pressure right off the start. There are other add-ons that are decent. Last Will increase your ambush speed, but you're probably better off just getting used to her base ambush speed. John's Medical File will increase the speed you can walk around while crouch, which is overall nice to have. Combat Straps allows you to crouch faster, which allows you to transition in and out of crouching more fluidly, which is definitely helpful. But if I were to rank all of her add-ons, at number 1, I'd put rule set number 2. I basically used it on all of my builds. Number 2, I'd put the Videotape because it's just nice not having to worry about trapping survivors. And at the number 3 spot, we'll put Amanda's Secret. Druss really put me onto this add-on, and it's just a great way of putting pressure back on a survivor who's removed their head trap. So after 3 days of getting to know Pig, it was time to get a little more advanced, and Druss hooked me up with what he calls the vibe check. This is something you can do anytime you get to a loop, but it's probably better if I just let Druss explain it.
In terms of like the crouch and ambush thing, which kind of like puts all of Pig's knowledge together, is something called the vibe check, which is so useful in finding out how smart a player is, and it even leads into multiple occasions where you do get a hit. So when you're at a pallet loop, it could be anything, minus the killer shack or the main building. Instead of immediately ambushing, you stand up at the pallet and you see if the survivor runs away or not. If they stick towards the loop because they're trying to like mind game you, then you simply crouch again and ambush, you know, go one way, go the other way, just whatever it takes to hit the survivor with the ambush.
Another thing Druss taught me about that I actually had no idea existed was the 12 search rule. Head traps will require 12 total searches to remove all 4 of them, but the number for each individual person is random, meaning it it could take each survivor 3 tries to get their head trap off. 3 tries, 4 survivors is 12 searches. But it could also take the first 2 survivors only 1 try to get their head traps off. But that means the last 2 survivors, it would take them 5 tries each. 1 + 1 + 5 + 5, that's 12 total searches. It's important to keep an eye on how quickly survivors get their head traps off at the start of the game, because then you'll have an idea of how powerful or how weak your traps will be at the end of the game. If they get them off quickly at the start, it's going to take survivors longer at the end, and vice versa. With those 2 tips, I was ready to go into day 5 and leave no prisoners. You know what they say, if you mess with the pig, you get the snout. On day 5, I'd been eyeballing this leather pigskin for a while, so I finally decided to pull the trigger. And to make things interesting, I felt like I had to match the aesthetic that day. Let's slap a little head trap on you. She's not even wiggling. No, she was dead. I'm an idiot. I have no ad. Oh, this will be a nice surprise. You'll be like, oh, we're safe. You thought. Oh, no.
I got you, fam.
Oh, she almost got that too. It's really tough to say what would qualify a pig master, because at the end of the day, pig is just an M1 killer with some fancy side abilities. Knowing that her ambush and her crouch and her head traps are just tools and nothing more is an important reality to live with. Her ambush can be used situationally when it makes sense. Her head traps can be slow down, but you don't want to leave a survivor just because they have a head trap on. You don't want to feel like you've wasted a trap if you hook a head trap survivor for the 2nd or 3rd time. Pressure is truly the most important part of pig. At the end of the day, you just have to play good as pig because you won't get a lot of wiggle room. Bad pathing might let a survivor make it to the next tile. A lazy pickup might get you flashlight stunned. Crouching for too long and you might lose a generator. There's one advantage you do have as pig, and I feel like survivors are a little caught off guard when they play against you. Survivors don't really see a lot of pigs, and for that reason, they seem a little bit uncomfortable when playing against pig. There are a lot of survivors that will try to be friendly to pig, which can be nice every once in a while. But to be honest, I was getting a little tired of it because it was happening so often. At the end of the day, you want to have a competitive match at some point. Pig is one of the more polarizing killers I've ever mastered because in the first few days, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a huge fan. At first, she felt a little one-dimensional, but as time went on, I really started to appreciate the playstyle of Pig. No, I don't think she's that strong, but that's what makes her fun. If you want to win games consistently, there's no way around it. You have to learn her in and out. So there you have it, 5 days of mastering Pig. Again, a big shout out to DrussNBubba who helped us through this whole process. He makes very in-depth pig guides on YouTube and he streams on Twitch, so please go and support Druss. Without him, we'd definitely be struggling throughout this series. We streamed all 5 days live on Twitch, so follow us at twitch.tv/StrazYT. And let me know in the comments, what killer do you want to see me master next? To watch my entire Mastering Killers series, you can click this playlist right here.